Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the DreamCatcher webinar series. As every week, we've been hosting these webinars, and DreamCatcher is a program that was founded through Freeport McMoran Foundation in partnership with Thunderbird for Good. We've been doing free business training for Native American women entrepreneurs, and we are hosting participants in intensive week training in Thunderbird campus in downtown Phoenix. Since we are not able to do that right now, we're trying to pivot and give you more training and online information during these webinars. Today, we're really excited because we have Karen Lin. She is the project director for NABEDC. And she's been serving the business and American Indians, Alaskan Natives, and Native Hawaiians. She has been served in public and private sectors for more than 25 years. We want to welcome you, Karen, and please just take it away. And we are looking forward for your presentation.
Well, thank you all for being on the call today. I'm really excited. This is, I think I've done Zoom before, but usually not with the camera on. So this is my very first time. So bear with me. So I'm really excited about being here too. And first I want to kind of dive right in, but I want to give a very special thank you to you, Denora and Dira, who introduced us, and also for Freeport McMoran for understanding the vision of having women entrepreneurs. I had a chance to read a little bit more about that, and that was very impressive, and I appreciate all the work that they've done. I've had the opportunity to work with them before in the past, about 5 or 6 years ago, so I very much know all the wonderful work everybody is doing collectively. So thank you again for having me here. The purpose of my meeting today is to really give some information sharing about providing services, how our businesses, all you ladies who are here on the phone today, how you can provide services to the government. So that's what my presentation is focused on. But before I get started, let me go ahead and give some presentation highlights. I'm going to give the history of NABEDC. I'll talk about our collaborating partnership and our community liaison, and some recent meetings that we've had, our business development services and resources that we provide under NABEDC, and then I'll dive right into the presentation of providing services to the government, and then of course Q&A. Please feel free to ask questions as I go along. I could easily talk all day long, so cut me off whenever needed. So with that, I know we're all connected, so here's how you can connect with all of us. So we have all of the Facebook and Instagram and Twitter on there, so please tag us on there, and I highlighted all the top 3 who are on the phone on the top there. So just to kind of give a historical context, a couple of years ago, I want to say about 4 or 5 years ago now, the NBDA, and NBDA stands for Minority Business Development Agency. They are the only federal organization tasked with working with minority-owned businesses. They went out to different communities because they were hearing a lot of talk in the communities about the organization and the different business centers not helping different people in different communities, more specifically American Indian, Alaska Native, and Native Hawaiians. Now, just to kind of put it into a frame, NBDA usually works with bigger companies. Generally speaking, those who are doing $1 million and above, or those who are in higher growth industries, whereas by using one of the NBDA business centers, and there's more than 30 of those are locally, it says I'm muted. Can you guys still hear me?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so with one of those being here in the Phoenix area, and then we have a couple of other centers who are collaborators. But they really wanted to make sure that the little guy, and I mean in the respect of those who really need to know how to do business, are getting the services that they so deserve. So with that, like I said, they went around the nation and they met with different tribal leaders, tribally owned businesses, and tribal members to say, what could we be doing better? And they called those the tribal consultations. Now, I had the opportunity to sit in on one of the tribal consultations. And at the time I was working for one of the business centers here in the Phoenix area. And I'll never forget that day thinking, oh, we're a top performing center. We know what we're doing. And we got an earful in that meeting because NBDA, like I said, they asked a very open-ended question. What could we be doing better? The feedback that we heard was momentous. It was huge. They said, you are not coming to the communities that need your resources. You are not working with, again, American Indian, Alaska Native, Native Hawaiians to help them where they are in their business. It was a very strong meeting that I attended, so I can only imagine, with the other consultations, how strong those were as well. We're very fortunate that NBDA thought about that, and they put out what's referred to as a BAA, a broad agency announcement. And that's where the chamber, Arizona Hispanic Chamber, comes in. The chamber responded to that BAA, or that grant opportunity, if you will. And we went through a lot of different questioning. A lot of people wanted to know, why is the Arizona Hispanic Chamber of Commerce going after a grant that's supporting American Indian, Alaska Native, Native Hawaiians? If you look up the makeup of our state, we know that the southern region, in our tribes in the southern region, also connect to Sonora, Mexico. We know that the population of the Arizona Hispanic Chamber of Commerce also mirrors the groups that we're supporting. So it ended up being a very natural fit for us to do that work. Combined with the fact, me, my colleague Peter Schwartz, our other colleague Roxanne Montoya, and even Saria, who's on the phone with us as well, we all have direct connections and nexus to these different communities. So again, it was a very natural fit. So with that, the Arizona Hispanic Chamber of Commerce was awarded the grant. It's a 2-year grant, and it was valued at $650,000, one of the largest grants the chamber has received in its 70+ year history. So I'm very proud to be a part of this. I'm very, very proud to help to prepare that grant response and for us to be to where we are right now. So with that, with all that being said, NABEDC was born. So NABEDC, again, we serve American Indian, Alaska Native, Hawaiians, and tribal enterprises. So just to kind of put this all into perspective, this whole top group, that's me right there. My colleague Peter Schwartz, Roxanne Montoya, and Chris Kill. So Peter is our Native American and tribal, I'm just gonna call him like a director level, if you will. He's a pretty big guy. He's been working in Indian country for more than 30 years. Roxanne Montoya, she and I, we work together for the state of Arizona. She is one of our, she's a consultant, and she's also helps with our website and a lot of different services that she provides, consulting services as well. And then our newest member to the team is Chris Kill. Chris Kill, it's a very unique position that he's in. We actually are fortunate to have him with NABEDC. So he represents Hispanic Chamber, NABEDC, and he also represents our only collaborating partner, who is NAFA. So with that, this right here is Mr. Pooley. I have the highest and dearest respect for this organization, but him as well. And he told me, and I get to say this, he says, Karen, I am your Navajo dad. So I get to use that. And I told him I'm using that every chance I get. And then Amy, who would make her my sister. So Amy is the executive director of NAFA. And again, Chris Kill being, he's a project coordinator for NAFA as well. And then here we have our community liaison. Her name is Mabel Sosi. She is the owner and founder of Spotted Horse Info Systems. So the role that everybody plays, and I'll break down everybody's role. But with NAFA, they have a direct connection and nexus to more than 30,000 tribal members nationwide. And, their mission is really focused on bringing families together and understanding that the foundation is really the mothers and fathers. And I just love everything. I love their messages that they have. And like I said, it was a very natural fit because of the work that they're doing in these different communities. They work with everybody, no matter where they are in life. And their message, and I have a couple of different quotes in here from Mr. Pooley, let's help one another. You belong to us. We belong to you. We belong to each other. And I love working with people who have that mentality to understand it really, it's as cliche as it's going to get. It does take a village. It takes a community for us all to work together. Then, like I shared, our community liaison with Mabel, she does a lot of different services. Especially she used to serve on the Navajo community direct before, the COVID madness that happened, but she does website services, marketing collaterals, business management. She does a lot of different services, and she too has a direct connection and understanding of how to do business in the government sector. And then we also have our education partner, who is the University of Phoenix. So we're grateful for them and their relationship and partnership as well. So trying to go back to where I was here. So the purpose of NABEDC, as shared, I'm saying it 1,000 times, but again, serving these different communities. But this grant came around essentially for us to help with business development services. So no matter where you all are in your business, if it's from conception to already started the LLC, to you want to create some DBAs, wherever, it doesn't matter where you are in the process, we're here for you. And that's the message that we offer. So through that, we have our technical assistance classes. We have dedicated classes for how to start a business, how to get government contracting, marketing strategies, export assistance, with all of you, and I'm calling you now, my family who's here on the phone, export services is huge. One of the reasons why this grant came to be is because there were people looking for different products that were authentic Native American, and having those in different European markets. So a lot of people didn't really understand, well, how do I export? Well, come to us. We'll get you connected to the right groups. We can talk about the Incoterms. We can talk about how to do the ship by air, by sea, and everything else. But more importantly, we can get you to those different connections. And then we also have manufacturing resources. We do utilize our community as well, the NBDA network. So Donna Ennis is based out of Atlanta, and we certainly work with her and her group to help with manufacturing resources. One thing I think I failed to mention was with NABEDC, we serve the entire state of Arizona, all of Nevada, and all of Utah. And as recent as March, we were given permission to serve the entire Navajo Nation. So we're very honored, like I said, with the relationships that we have and the work that we're doing. Recently, we had a meeting. It was called We Are Here For You. What we wanted to make sure was that we did not go and start putting stuff on our website when COVID started happening. We didn't want to put people, especially our vulnerable populations who are just starting out as business owners, we didn't want to put them into an endless loop and trying to find like business development services or business related services. So we took a step back for a moment before we started posting stuff on our website. Before we did, we made sure we validated everything is accurate. And then from there, we held a We Are Here For You meeting. We understand that sometimes, you know, business has to take a back seat to making sure that our communities are healthy. That's one of our #1 priorities. If you don't have healthy people, you're not gonna have a business. So we created the We Are Here For You campaign, and we had a wonderful turnout. Again, it was also another great webinar, and we had MBDA, we had one of the headquarters officials join us, and everybody you saw earlier, Peter, Roxanne, myself, Amy, you know, everybody was on the phone to be able to tell what does it mean from their perspective of we are here for you. So in this meeting, I echo that to you as well. We are here for you. We are not, although we are not a health and human service resource provider, we can certainly get you to those connections to the people who are, but we are definitely business development, and we're here for you for that reason. So now I'm gonna dive right into the entire presentation in terms of providing services to the government. Before I get started on that, does anybody have any questions?
We just have someone who said that he's been trying to NAFA.
What's the tie-in to NAFA?
Yeah.
So the tie-in to NAFA, we've been working with them for a very long time. I've known NAFA before I started working with the chamber and previously at the Phoenix MBDA Business Center. So our connection to them is because they have a direct connection to the population that we're trying to serve. We understand that the mothers and fathers of the tribes, they were looking for maybe different career paths, just depending on where they are. Like I said, we are very, in terms of the services that we deliver and provide, we help everybody no matter where they are. So let's say, for instance, someone's like, college, and I'm going to be very honest with you all. I have a college degree, okay, don't get me wrong, and I also owe $1 billion on my student loan, but college isn't for everybody. And, military isn't for everybody. Working at different, fast food restaurants isn't for everybody. So we want to be able to provide different tools and resources, and we want to talk about business development and resources in their different communities. So with the fact that NAFA has a direct connection and nexus to 30,000 mothers and fathers of the different tribes, we said what a natural fit and pairing. So, we want to make sure that they have the resources too at hand to legitimize their businesses. Some of them are doing things, I have these, beautiful earrings that I wear all the time. And usually I have my necklace on as well, but sometimes it's very hard for me from the person from the outside looking in, being charged only $30 for these earrings when I know for me, these are worth thousands of dollars for me. So we want to be able to teach them, how do you market yourself a little bit different? How do you get to a different audience? And again, the fact that they are our community partner, and I've known them for a very long time, it was a natural fit. To the person who asked that question, thank you so much for bringing that up, because we've been asked that before. As a matter of fact, when we were going after this grant, that was asked of us as well. Why them? And it was like, this was the most natural fit ever. And we're very happy that we are working with them. So I hope I answered the question.
Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other questions before I get started?
No, not right now.
So I'm going to dive right in. So providing services to the government. What I'm going through right now is kind of similar to what we do in our trainings. I'm providing a very extremely scaled down version of what we would usually provide in a training. Our trainings are relatively long when it comes to this because we have workshops and we have classes. So just to differentiate for our side for NABEDC, the classes are, hey, you may want to learn how to market your service, or, you know, go get your certifications, or here's what you need to know. That's great. That's a class. But then we also have the technical assistance where we say, bring your laptop because you're going to be with us for a while and we're going to walk you through this. So I'm kind of going to do a little hit and miss. I'm going to be doing the in-between for this part. So with that, there are different types of government. There's city, state, local, federal, and tribal. And I don't know, I'm going to pull up some different things here. I'm going to flip back and forth between some screens, but because I can't see everybody's face. But, you know, usually I always ask the question, what does government buy? And the question is everything. The government buys absolutely everything. Everything from services like professional services, so information technology services, cloud storing services, furniture. You know, my colleague is here on the phone, Saria Gayard, and she does, you know, she does project management services. So the government buys absolutely everything. And my biggest ask of everybody who's here on the phone is if you want to do business with the government, please come and learn a little bit more in detail about how we can assist with that. I say that because when people start learning a little bit more about all these funny acronyms and, you know, all these different proposals, they get intimidated. Just always keep in mind, you're in business to do the work that you do. Everything else is a framework, it's just a formality. So with that, like I said, there's city, state, local, federal, tribal. And, you know, how does the government buy services, goods and services? There's different processes. There's RFP, RFI, RFQ, IFB, and I can keep going on and on. Now, what that means, RFP is usually the standard request for a proposal. What happens is the government, whichever one, may have a need. And they put that need in that scope of work in writing. And they say, okay, community, this is what we need help with. You propose, how are you going to address this issue? That's a request for a proposal. The person from there will respond to all the different questions. They'll put their best foot forward. You know, they'll talk about, you know, they'll market themselves, if you will, and they'll talk about their past experience and their capabilities and their capacity. Then you also have an RFI, request for information. Sometimes the government, again, like, you know we need to build a building over there, but let's ask some more questions. Let's put some other fillers out there to kind of ask that information. Then we have an RFQ, which is my absolute favorite most of the time. Just helped somebody the other day with one, request for quote. The one particular that I helped was a Native American company. This one, they were the government who, I forgot what military base was asking for the service. Sorry, it just slipped my mind. But they just needed to know dollar amounts in terms of how much is this PPE equipment, this personal protection equipment, how much is it? And they had a bunch of different line items in there. How much is it for the masks? How much is it for the hand sanitizer? How much is it for this, that, and the other? And the person was able to put their dollar values in there, along with some general communique. And I'll talk about some of this in a second in terms of capability statement. And that was it. And they sent it off. And then another way is through GSA schedule, pre-vetted proposals. So over the past couple of months, for those of you who are familiar with government services, GSA schedules changed a little bit. I've learned that the hard way working with one of my clients right now. So that's like a way to get pre-vetted. So I know working with Schedule 70, I don't know how many, just a quick survey, would it be possible to help me understand a little bit about what everybody's companies, like what they're into? Is it IT services, professional services, education?
We have a different array of businesses. Right now, from people who are on the call, we have people with restaurants. Valentina, she's actually into fashion. She has her own company and she does a lot of like fashion design. She has her own company, and they're going to be actually in the Phoenix the Phoenix Week of Fashion. And we have also people with, you know, like bakeries. Some of the ladies have construction companies. Some of the ladies have also like like, with their husbands, they have like kind of like financial services, legal services. So it's just different. It's different. But like right now we have like 3 people with different businesses.
Okay, that's helpful. So because I want to make sure I'm saying that I don't want to, talk about like gardening services when everyone's like, what does it have to do with my business? So I want to make sure I knew who was on the phone. So thank you. So, but back to that with the GSA schedules with being pre-vetted. So there's different schedules an individual would be able to get on as long as they went through the pre-vetted process. And what that is, you're showcasing how much you charge for your services, your different scopes of work, your past performance, and what you would charge. So there's very incremental processes in terms of getting on GSA schedule. And then another way too of learning more about how does government buy goods and services, this is my favorite way, is through conversations at trade shows, by way of matchmaking. That's where I've seen a lot of immediate actions take place, if you will. At that time, they get to have actual feel with you, they get to sit with you, and we all know how relationships are. If you're reading something on paper versus being able to speak with someone in public, it's going to be a little bit different. So I've been able to see a lot of successes that have come out of matchmaking events, and also literally by way of government services. So to help paint that picture a little bit stronger, my previous role, and now in this role too, having the ability to work with the Federal Aviation Administration, the FAA. I've had a relationship now with them, both me and my colleagues, for a couple of years. And the one thing that has always impressed me about the FAA is that they buy everything. They are responsible for making sure planes go up in the air and land safe. Everything else is, it's farmed out, if you will. So I have seen, we have seen things with like agriculture services, the specialty lighting at the airport, asphalt services, construction services, IT services. But what I'm getting at is those are those relationships because their processes of filling out their paperwork is different than other federal organizations. So, there's not a one size fits all to anything that I'm saying right now. We have to understand the processes and understand the organization to which you're submitting your proposal. The next piece, are there any questions on that piece? I know that's a pretty hard load there.
We have just people like sharing what kind of businesses they have, community-based, participatory projects. We have another lady who has like a taco truck kind of thing. So it's just like a different things that they do.
Okay, thank you. So I'm going to move on to how to market your services and products to the government. So bear with me because I'm going to be flipping between screens. There's a lot of different ways that you can market your service because once you go, once you're in the thoroes of this process of responding to your solicitations, and they're going to want to know more about your past performance, there's a couple of different things that you can do and say to address that. Now, admittedly, they're never going to say, we check your website. Let me tell you, they check your website. They do. I'm saying this based on experience because we have worked with contracting officers before in the past and KOs as well. Not just here in Arizona, actually more specifically on the East Coast and a lot of different areas, but they do check you out. And then you have your capability statement, which is your business resumes. And I'm going to show you guys examples of all of this. Yours and your staff's resumes. It's a very different process sometimes when they're asking for resumes in terms of the overall look and feel. It's not like our traditional page by page resume. Sometimes you have to be able to get your resumes down, your entire staff's resume down to one page. I have seen some cute ones with the paragraphs, but the favorite ones of mine are all, by bullets. Like here's, this person has 20 years experience, 15 years, whatever. And then you see X's, it's almost like a grid. So I've seen very creative ways in terms of how people demonstrate that. Another way too, to that market piece, if you will, and I put bonding, license, and insurance in here, is because sometimes when you're doing federal contract or government contracting in general, bonding is king. So for those of you who are in the construction industry who know what a single versus aggregate bond is, the government does look at that too. If you knock down a building, who's going to pay for that building? It's your insurance, it's the bond, it's the company, and then also with your insurance. Another way to also market is with business cards. I have seen time and time again where I've had the opportunity to sit with people and they've shared their business cards and they miss the opportunity to actually put their services on there. We all have very cute and creative, business names, and I love it. I love it because it tells a story. It really, truly tells a story. NABEDC. I mean, what does that mean? I mean, you know, so we have to tell the story, but we also have to paint the pictures and describe the work that we do. So I've seen some missed opportunities. So going forward, just please keep that in mind as you have your business card. Perhaps put your services that you offer on your business cards. And then also the other piece is goals by way of certifications, but that's on my next slide. I'm going to turn to a couple of different websites and also capability statements. I have permission with everybody to share these. The first one I'm going to show you is one that's been used in federal contracting. Please hold 1 second. This is a capability statement. This is an example of one. As you can see, it has the person's seal. So, you know, for us on the phone who are minorities and women or veterans, you know, once you go through the certification process, and that's on my next slide, as I shared, you can, and you're certified, you are allowed to use the seal on your capability statement. Let me see if I can make this go down some. You know, of course, you have the logo here, their tagline, their phone number, their contact information. On a capability statement, that's a whole nother class that we do because it's critical, is also making sure that you put the correct contact information on the capability statement. I say that because you don't want to put your business line on there. You want to put the personal contact. If you're going to drop off that information and you just happen to walk away and that person wants to call you, make sure it's your information. You know, we talk about people about putting the DUNS number. Some of these things may be phased over time, but currently the DUNS number, the cage code, if you're trying to do federal contracting, and then how are you the expert? So essentially what a capability statement is, it's your business resume. You're going to talk about, you know, what does your company, what type of work and services does your company do? This one, as you can see, it's a construction company, so they detailed their different scopes of work and then all of their different certifications that they've earned. Here's all their different NAICS codes. Like I said, some folks will say these are being phased out. To me, I say until they're gone, they're still here. And also when you look at exporting, they still utilize NAICS codes. And then we have how this company is leading the way by way of their other different types of certifications. Could be a top secret clearance facility or top secret clearance individuals. And then the benefits to their clients. And earlier I talked about bonding capacity. This company at the time had 10 million for single, 40 million for aggregate, meaning on one project they were bonded up to 10 million, and multiple projects 40 million high. So, and then these are the high profile clients that they're representing. So all that, and then a list of their past performance. So little pictures here on the side, the location, the description, the contract value. It looks good, right? I mean, it looks good. It's a capability statement. Let me share with you another one as well. And the reason why I want to show you different ones is because again, there's no such thing as a one size fits all. So here's another one. Saria, who is on the phone, this is hers. So hopefully she granted me permission to share this one. But,
absolutely.
Okay, thanks, Saria. So this is Saria's. So here's hers. So right off the bat, it talks about, you know, her business, her goals, you know, to support her business. Part of her tagline, removing barriers and maximizing productivity. You know, I get to see that with her all the time and working with her. And here's all the information. These numbers are going to ring straight to her phone. This is everything that she delivers, her contact information, all of her NAICS codes, her primary, all of her personal certifications, and what makes OIS, her company, orchestrating your success, what makes her different. And here are her high profile clients. And in addition to hers, she put all of her certifications and seals on here. So she's, you know, she's with the Women Business Enterprise, the National Center, so she's been certified. She has all these different certifications. DBE stands for Disadvantaged Business Enterprise. SBE is Small Business Enterprise. She's with the Scrum Alliance, Project Management Institute, so she's PMI certified, if you will. That's another wonderful one. And let me share with you just one more, if I may. Here's another one. This one is from one of our clients. They are top secret clearance and they have top secret clearance staff. So for them, that's most important, and that's going to stand out from a lot of different capability statements. Here's their capabilities, their filings, their DUNS, their CAGE, their NAICS codes, what's setting them apart from everybody else. Those of you who, any of you on the phone, if you're into any type of IT services, you know, listing out your platforms and your technology platforms. And those were their high profile clients. Sorry, I know I passed by that kind of quick. And then here's all their different contracts that they were rewarded over time. So that's another way, like I said, to market yourself. Gonna stop here. Hold on one second. I should have had this up, but I didn't. Okay, so here's the other way. Share screen. So in addition to having a capability statement, excuse me, making sure the look and feel, everything is branded. So for instance, you all saw Saria's capability statement, and look, her website mirrors that, the overall look and feel, you know, the information that's in there. So we want to make sure that, you know, everything is branded, it looks good, it's tight, but most important, it's effective. The one thing that I've seen that has not been effective is when I've seen a capability statement, I digress for a second, and it made me laugh so hard. The person said, we're #1. We received all these awards. This is who we are. We are just the best. And I asked him flat out, now mind you, he's a really big company. I said, but what do you do? I said, I don't even see that on there. I didn't know what differentiated him from anybody else. And he just laughed. He goes, it's not on there. I said, I don't know, unless I've known you, but I would have never known what you do. And he was like, oh my gosh. So he had a, oh my goodness moment, and had to go back and update that. So sometimes, you know, having the combination of the capability statement, the business card, the website, you know, these are different ways not only to market, but to truly brand who you are and the work that you do. So let me go back. Sorry, I will come back to normal here. Okay, so that addressed the website, the capability statement. I talked a little bit about like your staff's resumes. That goes into much more detail, I think, way past, and I want to be sensitive to everybody's time because we're at 2:40 right now. The business cards and goals by way of certification. So let me talk a little bit about the certification piece, because this goes definitely hand in hand with government services. So there's a lot of different government certifications, and then there's government vehicles. So with the government certifications, you do have to go through a formal process. They want to make sure that you are who you say you are. If you are a small business, they're going to want to make sure that, you know, you don't own 20 mansions around the corner, you know, and that you're just trying to utilize that certification to get more contracts. They want to verify and validate who you are. And I totally respect why they do that. So that's a small business enterprise. So there's different rules and processes to getting these different certifications. Then you have DBE, Disadvantaged Business Enterprise. And you know what, my plan and goal and hope was to send you this information as a snapshot. So anybody who's looking for these certifications, I want to give you the links and the information. I started cleaning it up because some things have changed. So I want to make sure you have the most current and accurate information. So for those who are interested, I'll send that over and they'll just have to click through it.
Absolutely, thank you.
Thank you. And so we have the DBE, the Disadvantaged Business Enterprise. You also have a small business concern, which is just the registry. So for instance, if there's, let's say a construction company is looking for a DBE, a Disadvantaged Business Enterprise, because there's goals. So let me back up, rewind for 1 second. So let's say that the city of Phoenix has a goal to bring on 15% disadvantaged business enterprise companies. Even though you are a minority, even though you are a woman, although it's painfully clear and honest who you are and what you are, if you don't have that this certification, you may not be able to be counted toward that goal. Doesn't mean that you're not going to get the job, so I want to be very clear. Doesn't mean that. It means you would not necessarily be counted toward that goal. So that's why those goals and getting these certifications may help with that process. So, so going back to that, the SBC, small business concern. So the Arizona BECO office, I'm trying to think who they are. So our BECO office, you know, they hold the registry, the AZU tracks, where a person can go and register their business information in there. And if you're thinking this costs like $1 million or $2 million, guess again, it's free. You know, all this stuff is 100% at your own time. But, you know, this is a way for businesses, let's say there was a construction company needing someone to do concrete services. And, you know, they can go through the directory and actually see concrete services. They can get information about the company, their contact information, and they can see what certifications they have. One that I see I didn't put on here was also an DBE, which is an airport concessions disadvantaged business enterprise. You know, there's different things that happen at the airport. You have different concessions. So, you know, making sure that people get those. So those are you who are restaurant services, that's going to be one for you to consider. So when that time comes up again to go after different bids for, you know, maybe different restaurants or, you know, a little bagel shop or what have you, a little eats place, that's going to be something that you may want to consider having. So when that time comes, you know, they can see that you actually went through that whole process. And then you have the WBE, which is really held in most private companies. So Women Business Enterprise. So when you look at like the Walmarts of the world, the Costco's of the world, you know, anybody who's using what's referred to as a supplier diversity program, they also look at these different certifications. So another reason why these are very important. And then you have the WOSB or EdWASB, so Women-Owned Small Business and Economically Disadvantaged Women-Owned Small Business. I won't talk too much about that because there's new rules that are starting in a couple of days. So that will be on our actually one of our next topics will be on those different certifications. And then there's HubZone. HubZone stands for Historically Underutilized Business Zone. So these are going to be different areas. So just so everybody knows, all reservations are considered 100% historically underutilized business zones. So that is a government contract vehicle. Now, don't let me lose you guys. Don't get intimidated. Just hear me out. Let me go ahead and go through the funness with all this. So there's different areas where you want to encourage economic development and business growth. And so what happens is the government has these different programs. I'm going to call it a set-aside program, which may offend some people who is listening to this, but that's what they're called. But they have different programs. And if a company, if there's a goal for HubZone, an organization can utilize that HubZone certification, go after the HubZone contract, and you know, maybe potentially be awarded a contract. Now, HubZones are traditionally, and like I said, economic maybe depressed areas. It doesn't matter what city, state, you know, from Scottsdale to wherever. And I live in Mesa, from Scottsdale to Mesa and beyond. It doesn't matter. There's just different pockets. One of the rules to having a HubZone certification is that 30% of your staff must live in a HubZone. So if you can kind of think about the beautifulness of this program is getting people who may be in these economic developed areas, getting them jobs in a company that has their HubZone certification. And now look, they get to get more money, you know, better paying jobs to help grow in their community. So it helps with economic development. And then you have the 8A program, which is a small disadvantaged business program, another vehicle. You have to go through the entire process. It's a very lengthy, detailed process, and it's worth every second of your time. I would say that personally. It just really depends on how you go to market yourself and if there's projects, you know, available. Again, I'm speaking from experience. I've had some people who went through the program and they're like, it wasn't worth it at all. And then I've had others who say, I wish it never ended for me, because this program is a total of 9 years. They call it 8+1. So essentially what the government wants to be able to see are small businesses, our disadvantaged businesses, our vulnerable businesses who meet that criteria. They want to see them going after very specific contracts and growing their business. But they always hold true to the mission of you need to continuously market not just to government services, but to private industries as well. You really need to make sure that you are expanding your horizons, because a small business can go from small to big, you know, with, you know, getting some contracts, and you don't want to lose that status. Some people do, some people don't. So it just depends. And then there's a 7J program. That's management and technical assistance. So, and again, that's another multi-billion-dollar program. No, I'm kidding. It costs nothing for that one as well. It's no cost for that one as well. But it's technical assistance. So I'm going to provide some information. Like I said, each one of these programs, we can spend hours on them. So I'm doing my best just to kind of skim through them. And then you have those other vehicles, the MATOC, so multiple award task order contracts. So these are for, government services if you're performing on different jobs. And then the GWAC as well. I see a misspelled word in there. So I'm going to go to the next slide. Then what we have, some more information here, locating and bidding on specific government opportunities. So I want to walk us through this, and then I'm going to go and actually hop on to show you an example of one. So here are some that you may want to take note of. This is just a handful. Mind you, there's pages and pages of different federal, state, local, entities that you can go to find different bid opportunities. If you're trying to do business with the federal government and see those opportunities, you must be registered on the BetaSam.gov website. So all I can say is, it does, in the very beginning when you're registering, it does tell you all the information that you're going to need to get that started. And again, if you're trying to do work with the federal government, you need to make sure that you are registered on BetaSam. And then you have the state of Arizona procurement services, and I'm going to talk on that in a second, but you can go to that web page and find all these different solicitations. On there, it will show you when the solicitation came out, when it's due, when the pre-bid meeting is, and anytime you see a pre-bid meeting, I would encourage you to attend just to listen to the different questions that are being asked. And also, I would say this, if you have questions as you're reading solicitations, go back and see if you can find it first for yourself in the solicitation, read it again before you ask, because a lot of contracting officers have put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into putting these solicitations together, and they can cite stuff like the back of their hand. And the last thing you want them to do is say, on page 10, it specifically states, and they do some of them get very direct with you. So do I have a moment just to show a solicitation?
Yes, please.
Okay. So let me go ahead and okay, so here's one with the city of Phoenix. So I went to that website that I shared with you. And here's a list of, remember I said that the government buys everything. So look, here's court interpreting and translation services, payroll services, downtown traffic management systems. So here's a lot of different, there's quite a few different solicitations in here. Here's one, I'll pull this one here at random. It's for concrete services. So IFB means information for bid. So we're going to go ahead and open that, and you can see all the details in here. Click here to see the full-blown solicitation. Yep, this one's about 50-something odd pages long. So you really need to take note of reading through all the information. Please, again, don't get intimidated. A lot of it is legal, the standard terms and conditions. It's going to give the definition so you understand exactly what it is. We talked earlier about, insurance, and the different scopes of work. So if we were to scroll down right now to page 40, it would tell you the very specific scope of work that they're looking for. Here it is. So here's exactly what they're looking for. So you can read through there. Here's the qualifications. Have 5 years experience in all aspects of concrete work and services. So how do we describe that? We tell that story, we paint that narrative of all the jobs, that your past experience, maybe some information from happy clients, some, I can't even think of the word, like testimonials from clients who, have utilized your service. So there's a lot of different things that are involved in responding to these different scopes of work. But like I said, do not get intimidated. If you feel like you're getting intimidated, text me, call me, chat with me. I don't know. Just don't give up. Please don't give up. We need everybody's services and participation, because oftentimes these contracts go to the same people over and over again because they have that winning formula. They know how to respond. And that's where we want to be able to help you with. I also want to be very clear in terms of what NABEDC does and doesn't do. Although we have in-house expertise, sometimes we do rely on our community partners to help our clients. So we help make those different connections. So I don't know if we have any questions on that. I know that's a lot right there.
Yeah, one of the questions is, can you explain which tribes have you been working with? If you've been working with individual tribes or tribal members?
Well, it's a little bit of both. So for instance, Walker River Paiute tribe in Nevada, my colleague, like I said, he has the experience of over 30 years. My professional background in terms of serving Native populations, my certifications in Native American health. That's what I have my education in. So yes, the short answer is definitely individuals, but business owners. So, you know, on our website page, and I'm going to get to that in a second. Hold on. Matter of fact, I'll do it right now. And I'll come back to that. Here's some of the different tribes that we worked with. Ute Mountain Ute. Navajo Nation right now, we're working with Navajo Nation again through our relationships and partnerships. But again, Arizona, I mean, through NABEDC, we serve Arizona, Utah, and Nevada. So, you know, we just received, you know, a introduction to the Moapa tribe, but that's the relationship that we have. But in terms of tribal individuals, yeah. So Mountain View Media, she's one of our clients, Native American owned company. I'm trying to think where else. I can't see because it's kind of blocked here. So CIIC, so those of you guys who know Marcus at Arizona State University know we work with him as well. United Technical College out of North Dakota. So, you know, our relationships have been with tribes, but it's also been with tribally owned, those tribal business owners. So, or yeah, tribal business owners. So we're trying to help where we can.
Okay, thank you.
And I will back up here just a little bit.
There's one more question, sorry.
Oh yes, go ahead.
What is the best way to keep our SAM up to date?
The best way to keep SAM up to date? Your SAM beta, make sure that you update it as soon as you get those emails. When people, they let those slide. So a lot of people didn't know that, you know, there used to be a sam.gov and now, you know, it switched. And a lot of people did not know that. So guess what? Some of them had to start processes over again, get new passwords and everything else. So the best way is to make sure that you keep up to date when you get those emails all the time. I mean, I get them all the time. So I know this to be true. So like with Sam, you know, from time to time, you're going to get them that says, change your password. When you get those emails, not only go in and change your password, go review your information. Go make sure everything is current and accurate.
Okay, thank you. So if you can describe in 5 easy steps, if I have a construction company and I want to start the process of working for the government, what will be the 5 steps that I need to take?
Well, one of my first questions to you is what level, and are you ready to do work with the government? So making sure that you have your capability statements on point, you know, your website is current, you know, your NAICS codes, and then going to the bidding process. So going to these different, you know, government solicitation websites where you can actually respond to different solicitations, that's what I would say. But making sure, you know, I'm really big on, you know, put yourself in their shoes. The reviewers have a lot to review. What's going to make you stand out amongst anybody else? You know, is it that you are a Native American woman doing government contracting services? Probably, you know, because there are, you know, within the WEBEC, and Saria could probably talk much better than this than I ever could because she's part of the committee. But, you know, there's like a lot of different NAICS codes that are very specific to women business owners, with some of those being under construction. So now as a women business owner in construction, you may have that, you know, that little leverage against other people. But again, you know, as a contracting officer, they're going to want to make sure that you are bonded, you are licensed, that you have past performance, that you can actually perform the work. Because at the end of the day, last thing you want to do is mess up on a government contract.
And as an organization, how do you help Native American small business owners to start the process or kind of guide them in this?
So we have different classes, but for the most part, we're doing one-on-one trainings. NABEDC, you know, we're almost 1 year old. We had a major midpoint correction at the very, very, very beginning of the year, because we found that the way that we were originally approaching this grant and the work that we do, it didn't work. We had a lot of people sign up for all of our classes. You know, we fly all over the place. We were all over, I mean, we were 18 days a month on travel, because again, we have to go to all over Arizona, all over Utah, and all over Nevada. And what we found was, like, although people were signing up for classes and not really showing up, what they wanted was that one-on-one experience. So that's what we do. First, we do the one-on-one, then we shove them into classes, right? We're not going to be here, you know, holding your hand the entire time, because we have other levels or other experts in the industry who can help a little bit more. But, you know, we also have a breakdown not only of just our American Indian, Alaska Native, and Native Hawaiians, but we also break it down one step more. We have veterans and youth, because there are veteran certifications, veteran things that are very specific. So SD, VOSB, Service Disabled Veteran Owned Small Business, or VOSB, Veteran Owned Small Business. And then also for our youth, MBDA, our very generous funders, you know, they do believe, and so do I, in next generation of youth entrepreneurship. And so we want to make sure that, you know, that our youth are exposed to this as well, and get them started while they're young. Because all of us here on the phone knows that if we had a youth presenter today selling something, we would buy it in 2 seconds, because what do? We lift each other up, especially our youth. We always do that. So we do have very, very, very special classes for them. But the short answer to the question is, we do one-on-one first to help them to understand where they are. We do a major needs assessment. And then from there, we start to offer some advice and guidance.
Okay. And can you share a success story?
Yes, there's a lot of different success stories. So, you know, I'll share one of mine, and then some from my colleagues. I don't think he's on the phone, Peter Schwartz, if you're there, speak up. But so Peter, like I said, he's been working in Indian country for a long, long time now. And we had the opportunity to serve together on a different grant, helping our clients. One of the big ones, I'll talk from my perspective. My client, military, North Dakota, Native American company. He was going after contracts to do very specialty lighting at the airport. And it's called PAPI lighting. You may have seen it. Most of the time, only pilots can see it. So the rule is all red, you're dead. All white, you know, the lighting helps the pilot gauge how they're going to land the plane. Well, this person, you know, his company did this lighting. He couldn't get bonding for anything. He was getting contracts at valued at about $50,000 to $100,000, which for me as a little guy, I'm like, oh my God, like that's $1 billion, right? So we helped him get his bond, because the company kept giving him work, but not the organization who actually held the contract. So he was performing the work, but the company who gave him the work was getting paid $500,000. He was getting paid $50,000 to $100,000. We were able to help get his bond. That's all he needed to get those contracts. So that's one success story. Another client of mine, actually meeting with her tomorrow. She's also Native American, and she does website design services. When she signed up with another organization I was with previously, you know, she would go to all the different meetings, and she was getting clients left and right, you know, to do their website development. So sometimes that's just a matter of an introduction. You know, we're not miracle workers, but like I said, it takes a community, it takes a village. If we can make that introduction and speak of our clients and help to market them by way of their capability statements, their websites, their past performance, we do it. So what's really great about her is she's actually expounded on that, and she's doing work now in Florida, New Mexico, and here in Arizona. So that's another success story. My colleague who I was telling you about, he's probably one of the best contract reviewers I've ever known, in terms of how he's able to navigate that system. I'm a technical and business writer. I don't know if I shared even my personal experience, so I'll give you a 2-minute story. 25 years, you know, experience, technical and business writer. I worked on a project for one of the former governors. You know, I did that work for about 7 odd years, helped to bring in over $4 to $5 million in the time that I was there in grants. So everything that I do is 100% technical and business. It's very hard for me to tell a very fluffy story. It would be plagiarized. Once upon a time, happily ever after. That's all I know, right? So, but with my colleague, you know, being able to have that skill in terms of the writing, the narrative piece, and not technical piece like me, he was able to help one of our businesses, a roofing company, get a $20 million contract. Now, mind you, that company has grown immensely, you know, over year. They started, you know, with the backhoe in their backyard, and, you know, just kind of grew their business, but they do roofing services. And being able to get into the federal service, and then the federal government liked their service, gave them more contracts and grew them. He was able to help them prepare that narrative, that response to get them that job. So that's another story. But I always say, you know, I want to be very transparent in the work with NABEDC, because a lot of people, you know, we always focus on the work that we do, you know, with our Native American communities. And that's our biggest community, of course, that we serve. But we, you know, we also serve, like I said, Native Hawaiians as well, and Alaska Natives. Because what we're seeing is a parallel with Alaska Native corporations, because that's a whole nother story in terms of the perpetual 8A that they're able to have, and working with our Native American businesses and being able to subcontracts. So we're being able to see those different correlations and patterns. So whereas when people can't go and be a tier 1 provider, they can come in and do sub work under all these other contracts until that time is right for them.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much for sharing those. And how can they actually get in touch with you if somebody's interested?
Well, there's a couple of different ways. Here's my direct information right there in the upper left-hand corner. I'm Karen Lynn Graves. That is all my direct information. I'm Karen with 2 A's, so you can email me at karen@nabedc.com. My phone number is there. I'll respond faster to you if you text me than if you call, because most of the time I'm connected to a screen now or to my phone, but email is also always best. And here's these are my colleagues, Peter Schwartz, Roxanne Montoya, and Chris Kill. And that's everybody's contact information there. You can also visit us at nabedc.com. I'm actually making a formal request because of our grant and the way that we work. You know, I'd ask that everybody who's on the call, please take a moment to register with us. If you go to nabedc.com, scroll a little bit to the middle of the page on the home page, or go to where it says registration. If it takes you more than 35 seconds to fill out that form, something's not right there, because it's a really quick, we're just asking for just basic information, but we do have to track how many people we're in front of. And then if you need services, go ahead and let us know what services you need. Please make sure that how you heard about us so that we can reach out to you direct. So those are the ways to reach out, nabedc.com, our contact information, and there's some fun pictures to share. This gentleman here is based out of, I met him in Nevada, but he's based out of Utah. He's been doing business for a very long time, but this was the very first time he legitimized his business and went and got business cards. And I said, you better take a picture. So that was the moment he got his business card. So it always touches me. These are our partners with NAFA. So Amy, Mr. Pulley, this is Donna Ennis, the one who's part of our manufacturing efforts. Peter Schwartz, my colleague. And like I said, the NAFA family. I want to also share with you that we had our first People's COVID Resource Drive. We have multiple donation drives. We have sent a lot of different goods and supplies to Navajo Nation and to other tribes throughout the state of Arizona, as well as to the Walker River Paiute tribe in Nevada. So we make sure, like I said, we got to take care of people first. You know, business is always business, but we also make sure we take care of people. So we had our first People's COVID Drive. There's Chris Kill. In addition to the work that he does, Chris is also a renowned chef. And so, you know, he was able to take that picture with the chamber. And Saria, who's on the phone with one of our presenters, Tada Atone. Tada is an attorney, and she also is the president of Jackrabbit Development, which is a construction company. She's provided advice and guidance to a lot of our different clients. Like I said, she's an attorney, she's done that. And then she's also her company with a very unique foundation and services for building construction material. More NAFA family there. Jerry J, I don't know if you guys know her. She was the former tribal, excuse me, I'm losing my train of thought. Head of the tribe, if you will, tribal council there, for Tonto Apache. And then Roxana Montoya, she's with us, she's our consultant. And there's me, and also with NAFA, so we did radio shows as well. So, but all this information can be found on our website. So I just want to say again, thank you. If you have any other questions, I'm here. I can hang around.
Thank you so much, Karen, for being with us today. I think this is very valuable information, and we thank you for your commitment to help not only like women, but the community out there. And I know that the work that you do is helping a lot of people. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. Thank you all. I look forward to working with you.
Me too. It's another question. Does your organization do networking events at all?
Well, the Arizona Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, they do networking events. NABEDC, we are supposed to be doing networking events, but with this COVID madness, it has not been able to happen. But definitely during our year 2, and our year 2 starts in September, we actually, per one of our goals, have to have a major networking event. So, you know, as long as we have your information, you'll hear about that.
Right. Excellent. Thank you so much. And Please, anybody who needs the information, send me your email. I have all your emails, but just let me know if you want it, and I'll send it to you. This video is being recorded. It's actually on our Facebook page. And feel free to reach Karen or myself if you need the information. And thank you so much for being here today. Thank
you again. Good luck to everybody. My very best to you all. Thank you.
Thank you. And before we leave, we have the winner of the $50 Amazon card. We have the little name over here, and her name is Ashley Pike. She is actually from the cohort, the first cohort in 2015. And Ashley, I'm going to be sending you an email and just reach out to you to get your card. Thank you for responding to the survey, and thank you everybody for being here today. We appreciate it. I know it's an hour of your time, and thank you everybody. Have a good day. Stay safe, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.